Okay, this is a quick video demo on how to get our double gatefold brochure from viewing spreads into printing spreads. So if you recall our paper dummy, when we open this all the way up flat, you see that it's 4 panels on 2 sides. So it's going to run through the printer like this, flat. So we need to get you need to create a 2 spread document in InDesign. So 4 panels on one spread and 4 panels on the other spread. So we're going to go over how to do that now. Alright, you might notice on my paper dummy I've labeled each of the panels. This will help minimize confusion. As you might have remembered from when we set up our original InDesign document, we labeled the pages and spreads as well. So now that they match, this should be a fairly simple activity. There's a couple things we're going to do in our InDesign document before we start moving the spreads around to create the 2 4-panel spreads. The first thing is we're going to make sure that there aren't huge text boxes or other random elements too far off the pages. While we always love a good bleed, you actually don't want to pull a lot of bleed at this point because you're going to have to start putting pages together and the overlapping images could start to cause problems when you put the pages together that you might not want that overlap. So I'm just going to go through and pull all of my art to the trim, the edges of the pages. So the top and bottom is not an issue, it's the sides that I want to do this to. And you'll see I have some art that's hanging off the edge of the page. We will deal with that art once we make spreads, and you'll see why this became important and how to fix it. Something like, so we'll just skip down to the 4 spreads across page. This spread I'm not worried about because as you'll notice in the paper dummy, when I pull this out straight, we have the 4 full spreads when the brochure is totally opened. So that becomes one printing page or one 4-panel spread that we're looking to achieve. So it's just the other 4 panels that we need to rearrange. One other thing you want to note when you're looking at this paper dummy is the inside spreads. You can see it says right and left. So those are no longer going to be touching when it goes through the printer. So we're going to have to make sure that we didn't design this spread with any graphics that are spanning the 2 pages. And I clearly did design such a spread. You can see I've got not only text, but graphics going across both pages. I'm going to have to break that into 2 separate pages so that I can space them across the new 4-page spread that I'm creating. There's a few different ways that you could go about doing this. I'm just going to do the way that I like the best, and there are many options here. All right, so I think the easiest way to do this is first to take any text that goes across the spread and turn it to outline. The outlines. All right, so that's now just a graphic. This is text, just make sure it's pulled in. So all of my visual elements, like this first background, I have layers here, which helps. Okay, so I have just this orange background. I'm just gonna make 2 of these. So there's 1 page, and I can just copy, paste, and make a 2nd page. So then that's split, that's great. The next bunch of elements, I have this texture and I have the artwork here and here, and the words that are going across the spread. So I'm going to just duplicate all of these elements. So I can just grab them all. All right. Copy. All right. Now, I have some text, that's fine. All right. I have them copied. They're just saved in my copy. All right, let's put some pages together. So I'm going to just consult again. I'm going to consult this paper dummy so I don't mess this up. It looks like the back cover is to the left of the front cover. So I'm going to move the back cover to the left of the front cover. Great. And now you can see how some of this artwork was going over the page, and that is now an issue. That's why I was saying we want to pull everything into one spread. So let's undo that. Okay. And let's put all this stuff into a box. This, I'm going to cut it. This is my empty box, I think. Yes. I'm going to do paste into. So that kind of creates a clipping mask. Right, so then that looks better. All right, now I'm going to take the back cover and put it up on the front cover. Better. Good. All right, got some text boxes that are still kind of long. There, all right. Now, let's see if we can't get these inside spread. Left goes next to the front cover, and inside spread right goes next to the back cover. Let's see what we can do here. All right, so inside spread, left, so this one, first spread, left. All right, so I'm just gonna recopy these couple elements because all right, so copy. All right, now I'm going to make another blank text box to paste into. That we can just duplicate. So copy, move over, paste in place, move over. So now I have the same texture on both halves. I'm going to move that to a different layer so it's not in my way. Hide it for a second, hide the text. That's the background. Okay. So we just need this and this and this. Copy that. This is my blank spread. Put that right here. I'm going to paste into this box. Object. Graphic. Paste into. Okay. So they're all in there. You can see that. Put it back where it was. All right, and now I'm going to take these three things, group them. I'm going to cut them so you can see the other half is still there. Make a new box. It has to be a graphics box. That's why it wasn't working for a second. It needs the X in it. Okay, to say paste into. Perfect. All right, so if I turn everything back on, my spread still looks how I wanted it to look, although I think the hands were in front of that. There. Okay, now that looks correct. All right, so save as. right? So we're going to keep our original sample, and this is going to be the print sample, since we're messing the pages around. All right, I think we're finally ready to cut this up. All right, so again, we can't have artwork that spans the spread because we are creating this flat printable file, and the inside spread left and right are on the two far ends of this printing spread. So any artwork that went across wasn't going to work out for us, so we had to split all the artwork down the middle on the two different panels so we can break them apart. So you can see it takes a little bit of time and patience to make this file ready to print, which is why we have two files. We have the file that we're designing in, and we have this file that we're printing. After we print this out, if we make any edits to our design, I'm going to want to go back and do that in a new version of my original DGF sample InDesign file. And this print file is basically trash, because I will make a new print file out of my latest version of my design brochure, because it's so much easier to design in the viewing spreads than this printing spreads file. All right. Let me consult my paper dummy one last time, and I can see that where are we? Sorry. The inside spread left goes next to the cover. All right, so inside spread left goes next to this cover. That's the left, goes up here, which means this one goes back here. Oh man. Scary, right? Okay. So this was obviously the front cover here. You can see why these labels all of a sudden became like super helpful, other than the fact that they just shifted around on me. Okay. So I know this is correct because looking at the paper dummy, inside spread left and right, and when I fold it back together, this is also why when you draw what it's supposed to look like first or even after the fact, it becomes super helpful. So if my paper dummy says, you know, spread out, and the word spread is on the left panel, I know I did it right when I see the cover and then I see spread OU next to it, which I do on my screen. Okay, so that's how I can be confident that I got all the panels in the correct places. So the final thing you're going to do is just go back into preview mode and just make sure that everything still looks correct. There's no random artwork bleeding across panels that you don't want to bleed across panels, right? Zooming in is a great way to check that out. And if you're feeling extra great, the last thing you'd want to do is add some bleed to this file and pull bleeds. An 1/8 of an inch is standard bleed. Now I have that red bleed line. You can zoom in, and I know that the background colors are all on this red layer, so I just locked everything else. And I'm just going to pull some bleeds up to the red lines to make my life slightly easier when I go to trim this out. Right? And then I'll do the same thing for, again, we never actually touched this inside full 4-panel spread, which is helpful, right? So it was just a matter of taking our front and back covers and that first opening spread and turning all of that into 4 panels across. That's what we were doing, and it took a little bit of file maneuvering to get us there. So each folded brochure folds in a different way, so the panel structure will be a little bit different, but you'll do the same technique for each of your brochures. Create your paper dummy, label each panel in a way that you understand on the actual physical dummy and in your file, and it makes organizing your panel pages so much easier. All right, so this file is ready to go to the printer, so I'll just do File, Save, File, Export. We'll export out a PDF. We want all the pages in spreads. We're going to view the PDF after exporting to make sure we exported it out correctly. So again, you need all pages in spreads because you're printing a front and a back side of a sheet of paper. It's great if you can have crops and bleeds, so you have a little trimming insurance. All right, let's hit export and see what this looks like. Processing. Okay, here it is. Great. All right, so it's a 2-page PDF, so that means we did that correctly. You can see this was the opening spread, the front and the back covers, and this was my inside 4-panel spread. So this looks great. This file is ready to be uploaded and sent to the printer. And that's it, guys. Hopefully that wasn't too complicated and you can follow along to create your own InDesign files ready to print out and review. Once it's printed out, trim it out, fold it. That way you can look at it in real size and open it just as an actual brochure would be viewed. All right, good luck and happy designing.